The jackpots continue to soar. Go to any New York Lottery retailer today for your chance to win the Powerball jackpot or play for your chance to win the Mega Millions jackpot. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call the Hope Line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
This is how flying should be. That's what a Breeze guest recently said about Breeze Airways. Breeze flies nonstop to Sarasota and more, straight from Long Island MacArthur Airport. Breeze not only makes travel easy and affordable, but they offer flexible and friendly change policies, have high-speed Wi-Fi, and a premium first-class seat called Breeze Ascent. It's time you choose to fly Breeze. What are you waiting for? Book your flight today at flybreeze.com. Breeze Airways, seriously nice. In partnership with Visit Sarasota County.
We brought up my dad on stage, and he was sick for a long time, and now he's well. So to bring him up on the stage and have him play with us, because he's a jazz pianist, was an indescribable experience.
Welcome to Story and Craft. Now, here's your host, Mark Preston.
All right, here we go. Back again, another episode of Story and Craft. So glad to have you back. If this is your very first episode, my name is Mark Preston. Glad to have you. Today we are sitting down with the very talented actor Alex Wolff. New film out right now with Chloe Sevigny. It is called Magic Farm. Now, Alex has been in just a ton of great stuff. A Quiet Place, Day One, Oppenheimer, Zach Braff's film, A Good Person, also Hereditary. Very talented guy, also a musician. In fact, he's in a band with his brother, Nat Wolff, who is also an actor. Very talented guy all around. Really enjoyed sitting down with him, and I think you will enjoy it as well. Do me a favor, if you would, pop over to storyandcraftpod.com. The site, everything you could possibly want to know about the show, about past guests, it's all right there. Just head on over. Do me a favor also, pick up your phone or whatever you're listening on and go to your podcast app and follow Story and Craft. That way you get notified every time we have a new episode. And do me a favor also and like the episode. That way people get to discover the show a little bit easier, which I always appreciate. And I appreciate you. Always good to have you here. All right, let's jump right into it. Today, it's Alex Wolff Day, right here on Story and Craft. So where are you joining me from today?
I am at my parents' house with the good Wi-Fi. New York City in the West Village.
All right, so you grew up as a New York kid?
That's right. I grew up as a New York kid. It was all New York all the time.
Now, my son, I told him last night, my son's 20, and I said, oh yeah, I'm going to be speaking with Alex Wolff. And he said, have you ever seen Hereditary? I said, no, actually I haven't. He's like, you need to go watch it. It's a good movie. And he didn't tell me anything about it. He knows that the horror genre isn't really something I typically gravitate to. Sometimes I do. Still got PTSD from Poltergeist from when I was a kid. It's a whole thing. So I went and I watched it. That was a ride. He didn't tell me anything about it. He intentionally walked me in. It's like, oh yeah, it's just a great movie. There's some stuff. It's kind of a little scary.
He tricked you.
Oh yeah, basically, yeah. But no, he was like, yeah, he could be a little scary, but he was telling me it was a great movie. He watched it with his girlfriend and they love it. So, but yeah, it was great, and I tell you, one of the things I loved about it, you didn't have a ton of dialogue, comparatively speaking to the other characters, but a lot of it was just the camera on you and reactions and stuff. That's kind of what kind of brought up that intensity, because you're like, what is he thinking? What's going on? I always admire folks that can act very well, even emotionally, without a lot of dialogue, and I thought that was it was a great ride. It was unexpected. I like an occasional horror every now and then. Wow. There weren't really a lot of scary things in it. It was really a cranial kind of a thing, Right. But anyway, I watched that last night. The new film you have coming out. Okay, what's the premise of that?
Well, it's a satire about a group of Americans who go to Argentina to make a documentary, and they work for a company kind of a la Vice News, and when they get there, they realize that I have brought them to the wrong country, and funny chaos ensues.
Did y'all shoot this in Argentina?
Yep. Yeah, we did.
Awesome. That's one. I've always wanted to go to Argentina and Chile. I like, from what I understand, down in Argentina, they like beef quite a bit. So everything's meat.
It's funny because I'm a veg, or I will eat fish once in a while, but I'm basically a vegetarian. And so it was funny when I was there. I was like, holy hell, I can barely eat anything.
That and wine. So I've always wanted to do a little.
Well, that I have no problem with.
Well, very good.
Wine and beer was perfection. You just learn cerveza there, and you survive all right.
So where do you call home when do you live in New York also, or are you in LA most of the time?
Mostly in New York. Most of the time, I spend a lot of time in LA.
Is there a tribe of sibling actors out there that all get together for annual meetings and talk about what it's like to work together or not want to work together?
No, no.
It's really interesting because, you doing the music thing, it seems like most siblings, at least my kids, my three, I can't imagine them going, hey, let's go spend time on tour together. Have you always been close? Have you always been, familially and as well as creatively? Have you always been kind of grooving on music and acting, or is this just something that kind of came later in life for y'all?
Yeah, we've been doing it since we were kids. So we, have been in a band together since we were little boys, and have been best friends since we were little boys. And he's probably the first friend I ever made, and so he knows me better than anybody else. But yeah, we're actually best friends. It's not just an obligatory relationship. I think we really choose to be in a band together. We choose to hang out. We choose to do things.
Is it just the two of y'all, or do y'all have any other brothers and sisters floating around?
Just the two of us that we know of.
Both of y'all are in projects that I really enjoyed. Just the other day I saw, Paper Towns, I think is what it was. It's interesting the choices y'all make. I've seen him more kind of young adult stuff, kind of. And then, the roles you choose are really interesting, Old, which was just, I'm curious. I've never spoken to somebody who's been in an M. Night Shyamalan movie, but when you get a script from him, you see the whole film, okay, this is what this thing's about? Or is he kind of protective of it and just kind of here's your part of the sides? And is it even a secret to the cast, because there's always, in an M. Night Shyamalan movie, there's always oh, didn't see that coming. How did that film come together? I was just kind of curious because I saw it not too long ago.
I just auditioned for it and was really lucky enough to get the part. And I adored him as a director and as a guy. He's unbelievably precise and exhaustive in his the way he pursues perfection, with his shots and the stories he creates. But he's also very collaborative and warm and kind of, it did feel like I was working with a classic director, similar to working with Amalia, who directed Magic Farm. You just get lucky to work with certain people who it feels like their vision of the film is far beyond your comprehension.
When you were coming up, were you hey, okay, you said the band when you were a little guy, were you music's going to be my thing, or were you okay, but I also want to do acting, or I really want acting to do my thing? Where was the trajectory when you were younger, or was there one, or are you just putting yourself all in, just whatever happens kind of a thing?
Putting myself all in, whatever happens. That's the thing. It's not just about what works. My brother and I were lucky enough to tour with Billie Eilish last year, and have been doing music since we having kids. It was all there's been many dreams, working with Christopher Nolan or somebody, and I got to do that. And, playing at Madison Square Garden was always a dream. I got to do 3 nights there past year. It's been, if you pursue the work of something, it doesn't really matter the results. It's really important that you, if you want to do something, you do it 100%. You don't just say, well, I'll probably play it safe and hedge my bets. It's my life. Mm-hmm. So as in, not that the art is my life, but why would I try and limit myself to what I think I can be more successful at? Because you can be successful at something for 2 seconds and then something else comes along. And, it's just been a roller coaster, and you're famous 1 second and then you're not, and then you're in a movie and then you're not, and then you're on tour and then you're not, and it doesn't matter. But really, I just wanted to be be an acrobat. That was my main goal. But then this stuff sidetracked me. But I'm going to get back to acrobatics or playing in the NFL pretty soon.
When you were young, what was grabbing your attention musically, or films you would watch? What was it that was that spark that I want to do that thing that turns me on?
It was the Beatles. That's really the initial thing. it was watching Help and Hard Day's Night and being an absolute, Beatles disciple. I mean, I was completely, I still am, I just worship everything about the Beatles. And so that was the first thing. And then as far as in movies, their movies, but also then films like Stand By Me, and films like I saw Taxi Driver at a young age. That had a strong impact on me.
I mean, were your folks at all influential as far as exposing you to stuff, or were you kind of on your own journey?
Yeah, they definitely were. I mean, you can't help it. You can't help that. But I also like to think that we kind of found our own taste. But my dad's a jazz musician. My mom's an actor and a director as well. So I think that I couldn't help but be informed by what they liked. But it was also fun to figure out what I liked.
When you were younger, or even now, I mean, or were they giving you cautionary tales, or like, hey, I don't know, they know if your mother, being an actor, she knows the pitfalls and stuff like that. Were they encouraging it, or were they like, well, if you get into it, great. If not, that's wonderful too. What was their take?
I think they were discouraging of it, honestly, initially, and then they sort of embraced it. But I think they were scared. They were sort of scared, but we were pretty hard-headed about it and pretty stubborn.
I've not seen A Good Person. That's on my list because I don't know. I dig Zach Braff. One of the things with him, I know he the name of the movie is escaping me, but I know his soundtrack for him is like important. God, with Natalie Portman, I'm drawing a blank on the film he did, but
Garden State.
Yeah, Garden State, which I love. Did y'all kind of groove on music at all? Or is there any, like, the people you work with, do you ever just kind of sit down and just talk music? You kind of find that tribe of people or jam with them, or,
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I certainly loved Garden State growing up and loved the music in that. Chloe was someone I bonded over. Chloe Sevigny, she was someone that I bonded about music over, and Billie Eilish, who we toured with, we bonded over music. I think that it's a great way to bond the people that you're working with. It's an important way of sort of determining where people's tastes are at.
The jackpots continue to soar. Go to any New York Lottery retailer today for your chance to win the Powerball jackpot, or play for your chance to win the Mega Millions jackpot. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call the Hope Line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
Hey, it's Mark Preston, and I would like to tell you a little bit about one of our sponsors, X-Chair. Whether you're working from home or in the office, if you have a job or a task that has you sitting for a long period of time, this is the chair for you. Very comfortable, very customizable. They'll make it pretty much any way you want it. The look, the feel, the fabrics, everything. Plus, this is the kind of chair you can adjust to make it fit you just right. No matter your body type, it's spot on. I love my X-Chair. It has the Elemax cooling, heating, and massage technology. It is going to make your lower back feel so very good. Got to throw a little bit of love to X-Chair. It's the chair I'm sitting in every time I talk to a guest. So I've had a lot of time to have my tush in this chair, and the tush, the back, everybody's happy. Just go to storyandcraftpod.com/chair. Once again, X-Chair, check it out, storyandcraftpod.com/chair. Love my X-Chair. Your back will thank you. When you're creating something, is it like a riff? Is it like a beat? Is it something that grabs you, or is it start with a lyric? When you're creating a song, this is sometimes
all of the above. In my experience, it's sort of. I played Leonard Cohen in this miniseries that I just did, and I've been a fan my whole life. And one of his quotes is, "If I knew where the great songs came from, I'd go there more often." or he may have said good songs. Knowing him and his humility, he probably said good songs. But I would say for his songs, if you knew were the great songs, you'd go there more often. That's how I feel. I don't know. Sometimes you try with a lyric and it doesn't work, and then you try another lyric and that starts your whole song, or you start with some kind of riff, and it's not a science, it's very abstract. And if I understood it more, it would probably make it easier. But I don't understand it at all, really.
When you're on tour, of course, you said you were out with Billie Eilish. Where was your favorite place to play? I like one or two of your favorite
Madison
venues.
Square Garden. Madison Square Garden or the Forum were, no, Madison Square Garden. I've been waiting to play there. That's what everybody dreams of. You close your eyes and picture a venue. It's always Madison Square Garden. There's nothing that will ever be able to top that.
Yeah, when you walked out on stage, was it just? I'm assuming you were just kind of taking it
joy.
in.
That one was pure joy. Yeah, that one was just full elation. I just have never felt anything like that before. And then the next night was a lot of fear. I think because the first night was like a blur of excitement, and then the second night was like more of the reality hit, and then the third night we brought up my dad on stage, and he was sick for a long time, and now he's well. So to bring him up on the stage and have him play with us, because he's a jazz pianist, was kind of an indescribable experience.
I can't even imagine what that would be like to,
It was
but he's doing okay now, right?
Yeah, he was actually part of an experimental trial, where he had this disease called histiocytic sarcoma, and they tried an experiment of this Dr. Gounder. He was incredible. He tried an experimental drug on him, and he cured him. And I think now they use that drug that they were experimenting with my dad, as he was kind of the guinea pig, and now they use it to cure this type of cancer, and it's extremely effective. So
very good to hear.
Yeah,
especially to get him up on stage, there's got to be a big release of emotion, being out there like he's...
Yeah, and the song we were playing was actually a song we wrote about his illness. So it was just all a very impactful moment.
Well, coming up, who is he exposing you to jazz-wise that had an impact on you?
Well, Bill Evans was hugely inspirational it still is. Bill Evans is huge. Wayne Shorter, Milton Nascimento, obviously kind of blue. Miles Davis was huge for us. Herbie Hancock was impactful. His band, he and Pure Thoughts, people like Mike Clark and Victor Jones, drummers, were very influential to me because I started as a drummer.
Is that what what instrument are you?
Yeah, I play drums, piano, guitar. We play all the instruments on all our music. We do it all, which we've done for, like 15 years now, that we just play all the instruments, because I think we kind of like how it sounds. It sounds not always perfect, but it always sounds like us. So I like that. But yeah, I grew up with those legends in my ear, and I think it's definitely informed songwriting. Like sometimes Weather Report will find its way into the music, or certain chords will sound like some of these jazz guys that I never thought would ever inform our sort of pop music. But
so it's all hanging out in your subconscious and just finds its way to kind of percolate up.
Yeah, and maybe as I get older, a little more in the conscious realm. But yeah, it is kind of in the subconscious. Even when I think we were little, the chords are very strange and very interesting and different. I didn't expect to talk about the cancer and the jazz. That's really funny and really interesting and cool. My dad's gonna be very pleased that I got to talk about Milton Nascimento and chords.
This is a little bit of love for your dad. I'm delighted to do that. But I do something called 7 questions. It's just a little bit of fun we do with everybody. Cool. Just real quick, we'll do them rapid fire.
Love it. I love that.
Favorite comfort food? What would that be for you?
Ooh, oh man, tuna salad sandwich. Wait, can I change that?
Absolutely.
Hold on. Matzo ball soup.
That's my jam. Matzo ball soup is the one thing.
Yeah, matzo ball soup.
Well, if you ever need a recipe, let me know. Next question, real quick.
Send it to me.
If you're to sit down with 3 people, talk story over coffee for a few hours, who would those 3 people be, living or not?
Paul, John, and George. Next.
Very good. Very good. When you were a little guy, who was your celebrity crush? Your very first celebrity crush?
Ooh, good question. Catherine Zeta-Jones and Zorro. Heather Graham and Bowfinger as well.
Both. This is the very first Bowfinger reference ever. Very good. I like that. Now, if you're going to be sitting on an island, full year, exotic island, somewhere you want to be, no streaming though. You got to bring a DVD if you want to watch a movie over and over again for that year. CD. What would that CD be to listen to music over and over? The movie also on DVD. What would those two things be for you for a full year on that exotic island?
I'd say maybe the White Album, because it's the longest Beatles album, so I could, have the most songs to listen to. And then maybe I'm tied between bringing Fanny and Alexander, the Bergman movie, or 8½. My reasoning being that they're both long movies, so I can have a lot of time to really digest them. So maybe Fanny and Alexander and 8½.
Awesome. Yeah, as I say DVD, it's like who uses those anymore? But actually, things like people are going back to DVD.
I do. I
love them. I love the features. For a perfect day for you, what are a couple things or a few things that need to happen to make that a perfect day for you? The component parts of just a rock star day.
You just got to do an interview with Mark Preston, period. That's my answer.
You're a sweet talker. I like that. Okay. If you were doing this, music, acting, next question, what would the vocation be for you if you weren't doing this? What would be something that bring you joy besides doing the creative thing?
See, I wouldn't, give anybody else joy, but I would be in the NBA, which would give me joy, but not give them joy because I wouldn't be great. But I'd be in the NBA.
Very good. Now, last question. You got that DeLorean. You can hop in it, go chat with yourself. At 16 years old, you got a nugget of wisdom to drop to make that moment of your life a little bit better, or maybe put you on a little bit different trajectory. What's a piece of advice you have for a 16-year-old Alex?
Give me a second. I want to give you a succinct answer. I would say, hey, find a way to make sure that Donald Trump doesn't become president.
You and I have the same dream. That's
That's what I would tell myself.
Well, to Alex, man, I really do appreciate sitting down with you. I do love your work. Both you and your brother, y'all both have projects that are always hit a home run. But best of luck to you, my friend. Hopefully one of these days you'll be down on tour in Texas, and I'll pop over and I'll see some of your great work and with you and your brother.
Hell yeah, that would be awesome. Thanks, Mark. I really appreciate it.
All right, there you go. Alex Wolff. Enjoyed the conversation. Talented guy. Just really enjoy his work. The new film, again, Magic Farm. It is in theaters. It's with Chloe Sevigny. Also, you can check him out with his brother Nat. Great music. In fact, I was just checking them out on Spotify. In fact, if you go to storyandcraftpod.com and you click on Alex's info, I got the link right there. So you can check out his socials, go to Spotify, listen to he and his brother's music. Also, not only do we have storyandcraftpod.com, everything you want to know about the show, of course, it's all right there, but on your podcast app, if you would, make sure to follow the show. That way you get notified every time I have a new episode. Also, if you would, just go ahead and like the show, like the episode. That way people can discover my mischief a little bit easier, which I always appreciate. Okay, so I'm going to get on out of here. Another great episode coming up soon. And as I always say, thank you so much for making what I got going on here part of whatever you've got going on. All right, so I'm going to get on out of here. Got the pooch sitting here looking at me going, it's time to go outside and enjoy a sunny day. And go have a great weekend. Go have a great rest of your day, whatever you got going on. And we'll see you next time right here on Story and Craft.
That's it for this episode of Story and Craft. Join Mark next week for more conversation right here on Story and Craft. Story and Craft is a presentation of Mark Preston Productions, LLC. Executive producer is Mark Preston. Associate producer is Zachary Holden. Please rate and review Story and Craft on Apple Podcasts. Don't forget to subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app. You can subscribe to show updates and stay in the know. Just head to storyandcraftpod.com and sign up for the newsletter. I'm Emma Dillon. See you next time, and remember, keep telling your story.
The jackpots continue to soar. Go to any New York Lottery retailer today for your chance to win the Powerball jackpot or play for your chance to win the Mega Millions jackpot. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call the Hope Line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What if comparing car insurance rates was as easy as putting on your favorite podcast? With Progressive, it is. Just visit the Progressive website to quote with all the coverages you want. You'll see Progressive's direct rate, then their tool will provide options from other companies so you can compare. All you need to do is choose the rate and coverage you like. Quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.